Hello, welcome to the Starseed School of Illumination. I'm Colleen, here to bring you tools and techniques that you can use in your own practice, in your own spirit connection, and with your star family and building star connections. So today we're going to talk about you know you're a starseed if, and we're going to use evidence from your life. I'm going to share some stories as we go through. I have 7 or 8 different things, but there are already so many lists out there. This is not another list. This is story time. But before we begin, I want to go over what was in the first video, and that is about the 8th chakra and opening that as a way to connect and place us outside of time space into the quantum realm. And it's a great idea to go ahead and do that now together before we embark on this conversation, so that I can be a clear channel and do this anytime you're about to sit down before meditation, before you work at any of your altars, or before you begin any work with a client. You can also, I'll show you in a minute, you can also take that bubble of energy and put it around your client also. This is another important aspect. There's so much to it. I couldn't fit everything into that video. So let's work with this again for a moment and just practice. And so on the in-breath, starting in Namaste, on the in-breath, we go up and your hands apart. And I'm putting my hands out like this also, so I can feel. So we want to consciously part that circle, part the 8th chakra very slowly. Feel it opening, and then fan it down all around you in this great, now luminous gold bubble of energy you have opened around you. And then I can take it and I can put it around all of us as we begin this conversation. As a side note, when I'm going around like this, you can also feel for light leaks. So you can just get used to it, what it feels like, and then you'll know. And you can patch it up. You can smoothen out some areas all around you. So today, signs that you are a starseed with evidence from your life. First of all, please know that everyone is a starseed, essentially. We all have star origins on this planet anyway, because we're made of stardust. Even science knows this, that many of the elements in our bodies were formed in the stars over billions and trillions of years ago and came into planet Earth either through the Big Bang or meteorites crashing, particularly the incident when the meteorite came and crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and that's the one that brought the Mu people. So it created this big portal opening eons ago, and the Mu people came. I mean, that's what we call them, but they are of star origins, and they are our galactic ancestors here on Earth. I'm sure there's nothing new to those of you who had your lifetimes in Mu or Lemuria or Atlantis and during those times. So we came here now for a particular reason, and I want to go through a list that I've compiled. And the first one is literal star connections. So have you, from an early age, always been looking up at the stars, or been drawn to a particular star system, or known that, there's having some magnetism for a certain star system in the night sky, and you've always felt that your home is somewhere else? I mean, when we're little and growing up, we don't automatically deduce that, oh, I'm from this star system, but we feel this pull, we feel this magnetism. It starts showing up in our studies and things that we become interested in. That particular star system will keep coming to us, and most often, most likely for all of us, many of you did not want to come here at all. I'm definitely in that category. I have spent most of my life so far really struggling and not wanting to be here. But I have now removed all of that angst and happily understanding what I'm doing here and what is my purpose. And so you will get there too. It takes healing. Honestly, that's how it happened for me. And through removing certain contracts, and I didn't plan to talk about this right now, but it's useful. By understanding the contracts that we have with people, the difficulties, and really understanding what is universal love and the self-love that is needed, the immense amount of self-love that's needed for most of us starseed people to feel good here and to eke out our existence and to figure out what we're doing here. That comes through all the healing modalities. For me, my connection was always with the Pleiades, and we have many star systems too. There's more than that. I came to discover even more recently. But as a child, the Pleiades always came to me through these synchronistic things that I started learning. And one in particular was a course I took in Native American ritual. And then fast forward, like must have been 10 years later, after university, I was living with Lakota people. I was adopted and taken into this beautiful Teospae of Lakota people and living and dancing and ceremony for many years. So the Pleiadian connection was coming through these studies of many of the Mesoamerican ancient tribal beliefs and sacred sites, and which are all aligned with the Pleiades, you see. And so that, and a big part of the cosmology of the world as they understand it, their creation stories are about the shining ones, are about these star beings, and who came and gave all the information. I mean, it's all elemental also with earth creatures, and but there's a heavy part, a large part of it is also the star beings. So this is all working together in my life as I continue through the years. All this teaching is coming in many different forms. It also was happening through my artwork. So I'll share mine and then look at your life, how this may have happened with you too. So right before I was about to learn something, I end up making it. As an artist, so I do a lot with ceramics and I make things. I also draw and paint, but this comes out more in what I'm physically making. So I was doing figures that had their heads tilted back and were singing up to the stars, and people loved those. I don't even know what prompted me to make it, but then in retrospect, I look back and I think, oh, that was wanting to connect to the cosmos. And then it happened once I was making this egg, and it turned out to be an egg cave. I didn't have any preconceived idea before I started this one sculpture, and so it evolved into becoming an egg cave. And then I hung some small figures hanging upside down in this egg cave. Well, and I did not understand what that was all about. But then through, that was at the time that I was in the Native American ritual course, and then it came up in the next week that we were talking about the earth as the womb, caves as the earth's womb. So at that early age, now, I mean, now this is common knowledge. I think everybody realizes that caves are wombs of the earth. But then I had no idea about that. So that was one way that, and then I ended up learning about it right after that. And there was some other symbolism with the people being initiated in the cave, like my figures were doing. So there was that. And then even more recently, as a last example here, I was making a bowl, again ceramics. It was a bowl with, and I put fox heads around it. And so I just did it as an arbitrary decorative aspect. I didn't really intend to make anything with fox. But then a month later, one of my shamanic acquaintances from the UK, who's like the grandfather of shamanism there, his name's Leo Rutherford, and he actually did an interview with him in my other series, the Healing Visionaries series. And so he was coming to Istanbul, where I lived at that time, and he was doing a special workshop on his healing modality with regression therapists. So of course I went, I did the training, and there was no print material or anything about it. He was just, I don't even know how I heard about it, but anyway, I did and I went. So at the workshop, his technique is you go around the medicine wheel in two times in two different ways. This is all during one session with a therapist or with a healer. And so the first circle, you really purge all the emotions of your situation as you're going through with your different parts of your life. And then the second circle is where the real healing and transformation happens. And that one he named the Circle of Foxes. I sat there when I couldn't believe it when I saw that in what he was saying, and I saw it in the day's program notes. I thought, this is just too synchronistic to be nothing. I mean, and so through this evidence over long periods of time, especially, it's like we get hit over the head. Yes, you're channeling this information before it happens. So see where you have channeled in your life different artifacts or things that you've written before you learned about that concept. And shortly later, it would have come into your life in some way. Second thing are physical conversations with creatures like animals. So because we are often feeling out of place here, we literally have nobody to talk with who can understand this feeling of being out of place. I mean, unless you have other friends who are like this, but most of us really don't. And so one time in my life, I was at a difficult crossroad where it was a risky decision, and I just threw everything up in the air and did it. And I dropped everything and moved clear across the country to, I didn't know what. I didn't have any clue how I was going to make it or how I would build my life there. And all I had was a house sitting situation. There was a family going on a European vacation, so I was taking care of the house and the garden. And as I sat in that garden every morning, like almost right away, not that a day or two later after I got there, this hummingbird came up. And I thought, okay, isn't this cool? It's so great. Here comes hummingbird. And it's hovering and looking at me, and I thought, okay, well, it'll surely leave now. It's just checking out who I am and what's going on. But it didn't. It hovered there for so long, waiting for me to talk with it. And so, after it became such a long time, I said hello, and and started the conversation just by listening telepathically and asking, what you have to tell me? And so, do you know, every day that hummingbird came back to the garden every morning. And I'm not a timely scheduled kind of person, so I would come out at all different times of the morning or late morning. And there was the hummingbird every single day. And so, and it was like it knew that I was scared and confused and needed help. But what I didn't know at that time is that the hummingbird is a major shamanic archetype. And of course, I'm a shamanic healer. So this is a big part of one of the animal allies that I work with. And the hummingbird is about transcendence. It takes its epic journey every year. And so when I look back at that time when it was coming to me, it was like telling me, it's okay. You're on this journey. You will find the nectar. You will find the path ahead, just like the hummingbirds do every year, migrating from Canada all the way down through Central and South America. They, even the laws of physics, they deny, because their bodies are bigger than their wingspan is supposedly able to carry, and yet they do fly. And they make this epic long journey every year, not knowing where's the next flower, where's the next nectar going to be. Just like us, where am I going to get some money and resources to survive? How am I going to make connections and get the work or do the whatever that you need? But we do. We always find it. It always comes to us. And really, it's about staying calm. You can't freak out or panic in those situations. So through whatever it is, meditation or connecting with nature, those kinds of things are always helping us. So look at the ways that nature beings have come into your life and stopped you in your tracks like that and made contact. I'm sure you must have some. It also happened to me with a blue heron. That was really a strange story. And then it's happened even more recently with the praying mantis creatures. So there was like a period of about a year, maybe even 2 years, praying mantis were coming into my apartment, and like sitting right on top of the computer, talking with me every day. This one would come in. It came in through the window, and every day it would come and visit right on the computer, and then it would go over to the sofa to the adjoining living room and sit with me on the sofa. It was really interesting how personable that one was. And then there were other ones too that started appearing in the bedroom. I mean, it was not a family of them. It was many months would pass, and then I would see another one in different places, and it wasn't the same one. So it can be happening a lot with the creatures. The next one, number 3 now, is talking with spirits from an early age. This, I think, is common among all of us for sure. Because they comforted us. They knew that we came here and it was going to be difficult and awkward, and so they comforted us. Mine lived in my blanket. So where were yours? What do you remember, these little voices or just a comforting spirits or guardian that was always around you? And so what happened is, then they start sending us information. They start when you're a little bit older, like maybe after age 10, I would say the information starts coming in, in these large packets to figure out what they mean. And so naturally we want to put things into words and sentences and make it make sense, but actually we've got to speed up. So my guide was channeling these informations and telling me, speed up. You can't put everything into words and sentences right now. You've got to just grasp and grab the whole gestalt, the whole concept, and then you can bring it down and slowly put it into these sentences and make sense out of it. But it's going to go away, poof, it's gone if you can't get it fast enough, because what's happening is they're coming down halfway and we're going up, and so we need to be able to grasp that, because it's hard for them to slow down enough to bring it to a level that we can reach. So if we speed up, we can meet them a little bit easier. There will also, go back to your early years, games that you might have played, usually by yourself. I had a very bizarre game. I definitely didn't play it with any other friends. When I was by myself, I go out to this hill in the backyard, in the back of the house. Behind my house there was a hill, so I'd sit there and I used these sticks as gear shifts, and I would like pretend I'm driving a big spaceship and call things out, and I sang weird sounds, and it turns out that I was searching for these portal edges. I was searching for portals, and where could I find the edges and the openings of these things? Now, I had no idea of that then at all, no way. It took years. I just only discovered that a couple years back, but I always remembered that really strange game. And where did that come from? I mean, I wasn't even interested in UFOs or spaceships or anything back then, so it was pretty out of the ordinary. And then the sounds that were happening, it was also the same when I was in bed crying. There was a lot of crying in my early life, and nobody ever came in, so I would start singing. I would start making these weird, first it started like weird sounds that would come out, and I would do it very slowly, and then it became into like a song-like form, and I kept doing this every time that I was crying for a long time, and then I would go into the singing and the sounds. Now we know this as light language, but there was no concept of that back then, and it was calming. That's why we do that, because it calms us. So tap into your memories and where you also might have, because I never thought of this. I didn't even remember any of these things. Why would you? I mean, I just remember crying in bed, but that interesting detail. So I thought everybody thought I was a weird kid, including me. But then now we can make sense out of it. It's like connecting the dots after so much time has passed. It all starts adding up. It all starts coming together. So if you had any unseen friends in childhood, or how you were comforted in these ways, how they spoke to you, try and remember back to that. The next thing are naturally our dreams, and especially the reoccurring dreams. Those ones, especially when you're young, and I mean between the ages of 3, 5, 10, it's kind of hard after 10, these things end up fading away. So if you have a good memory of back then, which I do, I can remember all the way back, even when I was 2 and definitely 3. But those reoccurring dreams are intended to activate the path that is to come ahead in your life. or they can be also showing you your past life, other dimensions, other eras, those kinds of dreams. I had two recurring dreams in particular, and they would both come again, again, again. And they were both of those things. One was activating my path to come, and the other was showing me a past life. Yeah, very interesting. So the next one, at night, in the darkness, when the veils are thin, did you ever have any beings that were there, that beings that you knew were hanging around or watching you, maybe even comforting you, or whatever weird things happened during the nighttime? It might not necessarily be your guides, but they're not human. And I used to see these two tall, shadowy figures who would watch at the end of the bed. And I didn't particularly like them, but I also wasn't scared. But I knew it wasn't any kind of guardian angel or anybody helping me. They were definitely not there to help. But nonetheless, I could still fall asleep because it wasn't scary. But what it turns out it turns out they might have been these beings from Orion, the Orion star system, that are humanoid, part humanoid and part gray. Not all grays are bad, okay, but mostly okay. Anyway, what I found out is that they are on a parallel reality where their planet was almost destroyed, and they needed portal travelers who knew how to reset their timeline and repair it. People who could do timeline repairs, and for their reality was about to go poof and be destroyed. So they're coming. There was a series of about 10 years when they were coming, and they were coming to children because they knew who we were. They knew we were beings from other galactic systems who knew how to do this work, you see, and they didn't have those skills. So they were coming here through this certain portal, but there's a non-interference law on Earth that would bounce them back out, and that's why they always appeared shadowy, because they weren't actually anchored here in this reality. And they couldn't sustain their time frequency for very long. And thank God that law exists here, that they can't just steal people and take them away to some other galaxy. But they tried, and it was a badly failed experiment for about 10 years until they learned how to fix it themselves through their own evolution. And they had to learn the frequencies of weaving time together. So they had to figure that out themselves. But those were my shadowy other beings that were hanging around. But this is evidence, they knew that we had these skills. They knew that we were very recently from another system. Nextly, look at how you spend your free time. What do you love to do? What are your secret passions, and what excites you that you follow or investigate? Usually it starts with crystals and magic and angelic energies and mysticism and stuff like that. But it also can evolve into even bigger responsibilities. Like for me now, it's evolved into travel to sacred sites where I channel the ancients. This is what I love to do. I've been doing it for so many years all over the world, traveling to sacred sites. At first, it was just because I was fascinated and I loved being there, and it raised my energy and all those kinds of things. Now I'm actually doing my work there. I'm doing the big work there energetically because I like to channel the ancients. Who was there? How did they use it? What was the ancient technology? And like I've got a lot of information on Göbekli Tepe, for example. I've been there several times, and I love that place. It is so So interesting and so special. So I got a lot of information about that from the original people who used it. Well, star people who used it. And now I've even been moved to different countries by spirit to do energy work, to do work with the earth frequencies that are coming down and connecting them to the grid and system here. And so once I get to the place, then my guides start showing me, teaching me how to work with the energy. It's interesting because I don't even know how it's going to happen or how I'm supposed to do it, and yet they always come in with the information and start teaching me. So think back in your life, where did it start for you? Probably, you were connected to some kind of star beings or galactic history or consciousness at large and how these things work. So it starts early, and those sparks lead us into deeper, more connected responsibilities, and who knows what yet to come, but it strengthens our abilities, strengthens our connections, and through all of this evidence, we know it's real, and there's no more complaining about not wanting to be here. Once you settle in and understand it and accept it. If once you accept, okay, this is what's going on, I came here for a reason, it's all okay, and you will figure it out. And you just little by little, follow your own nose, follow your own light, and your guides will get you there. Lastly, you would have a highly intuitive sense of mind and can feel the energy and emotions of other people, animals, places, objects, all these things, even more than being a normal empath. It's like being an empath to an even greater perception. So if you have remnants of stories to resolve or want help in activating your galactic skills and knowledge, consider booking a call with me to discover how my healing techniques would help you to stabilize and integrate this into your field. It's really powerful. The shamanic techniques are above and beyond so many modalities. Of course, it can take many modalities to get us there. But for me, I found that these have really anchored my life and my skills, and my purpose is unfolding even at far faster and bigger than I could have ever imagined. So give me a call if you're interested to talk and to learn more about that. But just know that we do our best. We hold the light. We keep evolving higher on the ascension path, which is quickening up all the time. So it's good if we can also keep our energy field clean, cleared, and you need help to do that heavy lifting. We can't keep going around carrying trauma and old stories and stuff that bogs us down. So that's doing the inner work, and it's important that your feelings are truly positive from a place of no trauma, no old stories. It's not because of spiritual bypassing all of that you put on a mask of positivity, but you actually, once you clear all that, you actually are really feeling positive. I didn't even think it was possible to feel so light and feel so good, because I was really bogged down with a lot of trauma and stories and not nice things for a lot of years until I started really clearing them out. I mean, it took a long time for me. Everybody's got a different path also, but I was always looking to every healer, every technique I could possibly find, and they work little by little, But then the shamanic work, just like a thunderbolt, it just removes this stuff. And so just want to leave you with that, that it is possible to actually feel so light and feel okay about being here. Now, in the next video, we're going to build a star altar. Yes, that will act as a portal for your further connection and your deeper communication. Can't wait to share this with you. But in the next video unit, you're going to need a pendulum. So just as a heads up, advanced preparation, if you don't have a pendulum, you can make one. So get any kind of pendulum that you have. You can make one with a ring and a string, especially if the ring has some weight to it, because this one's a little too light. Or you can use a glob of sticky tack and a string. It works. It just works. So we're going to be doing some pendulum and psychic tests. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. And I look forward to any comments or stories and evidence that you'd like to share about this topic. Welcome, dear ones. Gaze into this portal. We will use it now in a guided journey, and you can fashion your own later to continue to learn of your home star systems and information. You'll notice 7 sparkles or beads around the center, symbolizing the Pleiades. There are geometries in each corner. Using a crystal set of platonic solids is ideal if you have that. I don't have mine here with me in this location, so I've used other faceted crystal shapes in the corners and pyramid in the center, with lotus candles on either side and the nautilus shells holding the sacred ratio of all organic life on every scale. Note how also the Pleiades has a similar spiral pattern we know from the Hubble telescope photos. The whole ground is to square a circle, which is geometrically impossible in mathematics. It cannot ever align exactly perfectly. Here, the square cloth manta is the earth, the circle is the cosmos, and the central triangle gives dimensional form to the flat surface as a pyramid connecting to the cosmic space above. Now, in your mind's eye, pop this out into a 3-dimensional blueprint, just like the Tibetan Kalachakra mandala is a flat blueprint of the ethereal land of Shambhala. This here, too, is a cosmic portal on a flat surface that can expand out into 3-dimensionality far, far beyond the borders of this realm. By centering your gaze to encompass the whole periphery of this altar ground, now visualize its depth and dimensionality, moving it up into the space before you. As a special note, we must only use this kind of altar for this specific purpose, to commune and connect to star relations. It is not for any other use other than connecting with galactic and cosmic family and friends. Now, we will set our intention for the journey ahead. Make one question in your mind of what you would like to discover. Some things such as, may I meet my star mother and father? May I meet my guide? And what is your name? May I know what star systems that I have lived in before? Just one question. Choose it now so we can maintain a clear focus and intention. Look into this star altar as it is your looking glass for contact and communication. Focus on your intuition. Use the imagination to move into this space. Good. Keep going deeper and deeper, looking, and blitz out your physical form and any concern about your life's purpose. Focus your gaze now on the surrounding Pleiades and candle in the north. The other geometries in the corner can disappear from your focus. The ether is out in the fifth dimensional universe, and it's available to all sentient beings. Keep breathing effortlessly, easily. Point the tip of your tongue to the front top of your palate, relaxing your shoulders, relax your arms, face muscles. Melt into your seat. And keep gazing into the flame. Bring your awareness now to the space between your eyes and go into it, stopping right between the center of your ears. Hold there and hover. Hovering here. This is the pineal. You might feel some tingling. Keep holding. Try to wiggle it. Now with focus and intention, we anchor here and ask your question. Ask your question. Move your consciousness into the flame in the north, on top specifically. As if you're moving into the sun and beyond into another planetary realm. Allow the light of the candle to take you there, to take you into the beyond the sun. Expand your energy body into a vast, wide, and endless field as a light wave as you move out into this other planetary dimension as a visitor. Now out in that deep, vast space where you have set yourself out as a giant, vast light wave. See yourself as a single star. Move all of your energy field into that shining orb of disembodied consciousness. Be in this place of the star in pure light. This is where you can go unhindered to take up residence in the realms that honor your luminosity. From this star position, you can be wherever you choose. You can now go anywhere you dream of. Very good. Very good. Journey now. I will come back to retrieve you in a few minutes of silence. Very good. Very good. On the count of 4, without disrupting your experience, we will say goodbye and thank your new friend or friends, and know that you can come back here at any time. Your star will be there as your center point and connector. Remember this. 1. You are aware of your breath and your physical vehicle, yet you are not only body. 2. You are aware of the room you are in. 3. Gently open your eyes and gaze back into the center of this image of the star altar. And 4. Welcome back. Now, dear friends, go and build your own star altar and practice this guided journey to activate and use your own stargate right in your own home. But only feed it or use it with visions of light and cosmic origins. May we walk in beauty and light. If this interests you, please message me for a free consultation or book a session at the link below. Thank you for watching.